Alrighty, there we go. Welcome to the Hip Hop Hustle podcast. We are back. I'm really excited about my guest. Safa Gaw came through. He's known by Sa as well, by his friends, so I can officially call him one of my friends as well. But man, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. You just released a single, Wine and Dine just came out, and you've also got another single, Resist. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And like we were saying off camera, man, I like what you're doing. You're pushing the boundaries of your own sound. So, hey, I had to have you on the show.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Amazing intro. I wish I could give you an intro now too. I feel like I owe you one back. You feel me?
When you
But
invite me on your show, then you can do me an
yeah,
intro.
yeah. Nah, for sure, for sure. We're gonna do that. We're gonna swap roles.
Yeah. So no
But
pressure on you at all.
nah, for sure. But thanks for having me, man. It's always interesting to see that, people's actually like that it's reaching people and you in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the US?
Yeah, I have. So I went to New
Have you ever
York last year.
okay.
And I'm actually going to New York. I leave in like 9 days. I go to New York for one of my
Oh,
friends are getting married in New York.
okay,
So
word,
so,
word,
so I'm gonna be there.
word. That's what's up. Have you ever been to the Caribbean?
No. I've always wanted to go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm a
You gotta
big
put that on your list, man. You gotta pull up, you gotta slide the Belize.
I do. Well, see, the thing is, I'm into cricket, like into the sport cricket, and they had the World Cup, the T20 World Cup in the Caribbean and the US. So
Mhm.
I was like, man, the weather there looks so good. I wish I got to
Amazing.
go. Yeah.
So when I'm from in Belize, it's like as far as like the temperature, it's like summertime all year round.
No wonder
So
you're so happy.
we don't get fall time, like we don't get fall, we don't get spring, we don't get none of that. It's just tropical weather all year long. So it's definitely nice. It's definitely nice for sure.
How often do you go visit?
I try to go once a year. If I miss a year, I might go the following year.
Yeah.
And I'll probably go for like 2 weeks minimum. But sometimes I do a month. Sometimes I do two
Damn.
months. Yeah.
Yeah. Just sit back. Like, what's the difference? What's the feel? Like, because you're based in Atlanta, you're originally from New York. Like, what's the
Yeah.
feel in Belize?
So going back home, it's love, bro. Like it just feels different. It's the air is different. Everything is different. The food's different. The people's different. The water's different. The atmosphere, everything. It just feels. It's just a different feel. I guess. Like for me, mainly, like when I like what I'm able to visualize is what I go off of. So being able to be around the jungle lifestyle, which is where my moms live, and then still being able to go to the beach 20 minutes away and seeing coconut trees and you know what I'm saying? The Caribbean Ocean right in front of you. Um, it's definitely different from what I'm doing now. Like being in Atlanta, we don't even have an ocean. We don't have a beach. It's the closest thing I've been to a beach is like a lake. Um, but I would say overall, when I'm in Belize, I feel like I could see the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I get that. Like I could see outside. I feel like I could see outside. Everything is just different. But when I'm here, I feel like I'm boxed in, you know?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a paradise. And I got to be honest with you, man. As soon as you said, I don't have an ocean, I don't know what, because I have ocean pretty close to me, as in, like, we don't have, it's cold now and the beaches aren't necessarily the best in Melbourne, but I can drive or walk 40 minutes and I'll be next to a beach. And
That's
like,
tough.
and I don't know, there's something so peaceful about knowing that there is beach and ocean near you. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like
bro.
a different mental escape.
Yeah. Yeah. So have from having that to not having it is kind of like, I don't know. It's weird because I'm a water boy, man. Like I grew up a block away from the beach, like 2 blocks away from the beach. So I lived in Belize for 10 years. The first 10 years of my life, actually, I lived in Belize. And the whole entire 10 years I've lived in the same place and I've been able to like that was my therapy. Sometimes walking on the beach early in the morning would be my therapy. You
That's
know,
my
it helps.
therapy right now, man. I
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
people ask me, someone asked me the other day, he was like, Aaron, how do you maintain like calmness with the stress that you have? And I was just like, I just walk. Like I walk a lot and I make time to go to the beach to walk by the beach. Like I just find the sound of the ocean, the feeling, just even if it's cold, like in the middle of winter, I'll still find time to go and walk by the beach because it's just the energy that you get back is really pleasant and it just makes you think, it just makes you feel like there's something bigger than you. Sometimes we get so focused on like the little bullshit that we forget that there's the rest of
1000%.
the world.
1000%. And that's a reminder of that. When you that's what, so when you ask what that feeling is, it's like, what's the difference? It's like, and that's why I said I felt boxed in and closed in when I'm here, is because when I'm there, I could see like I said, I could see everything for what it is. You know, when I'm here, it's like sometimes I can't even think straight. I don't know what's going on. I can't with everything that's going on, I can't even see past it. You know what I'm saying? So for
So
me, even when I'm back home, like I make better music when I'm in Belize.
so how do you manage that while you're in Atlanta? Like how do you manage that and manage yourself? Like you've obviously recognized it. So what do you do to make sure that it doesn't like get to you?
So I keep my roots close to me. So it's like you could take me out of my environment, but you can't take my environment away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have my family with me. So having my family around me and having my family with me, it kind of take me back home because we speak our language in the house. You know what I'm saying? We cook our food in the house. We live how we would live back home when we here. So that's kind of what it is. Like when I was in New York, if I was in New York, it would have been a little bit different because when I'm in New York, like um I don't have nobody that's Belizean around me. Everybody is, you know, from somewhere else or just American. You get what I'm saying? So being here, being like having how I have things structured now is kind of good because I got my people around me. So it feels like a little bit of home is still with me. If I'm, you know what I'm saying? Being
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
but so home is still with me.
Yeah.
So that's where I get my inspiration from, like as far as like making music now, because you know, sometimes it get hard. Like sometimes you're not even inspired. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you're not even inspired to make music. Like a lot of people is always like, how do you come up with lyrics? Or how do you even come up with a song? And it's like, you gotta be inspired by something to speak about something else or whatever it is that you want to put in your music, you know? But I've been managed I've managed to stay, I would say, I don't know if it's my skills and me staying in the gym, but I'm always inspired.
Why do
I'm
you think
always
that
inspired.
is? Why do you think you are always inspired?
I'm not gonna say I don't get writer's block sometimes, or I'm not gonna say um it's not hard for me to come up with songs sometimes because sometimes it is hard to come up with songs, but I feel like I stay inspired because um as much as I love music, I know that there's something out there that has to do with music that's waiting for me. And it's like, bro, you know, like times that I would probably feel discouraged because it is times that I'm discouraged, but I feel like with discouraged when I'm discouraged, like it brings inspiration because something in the back of my mind reminds me. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you do you know who you are? Like, you know what you're capable of, or you know all types of things. So it's like, I don't know if I'm forcing myself to stay inspired, but if I do get discouraged, and something in the back of my brain just starts working, and it's like, no, what are you doing? You know, like the other day, I was dropping a bunch of content um, around my music, and then I just stopped because I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And then I had to remind myself, like, yo, like, yeah, you want results, but you can't dig a hole and just expect a house to be done. You really got to keep building that house until it's finished, right? So I'm like, bro, you just started putting out content. Like, what are you expecting? You know, just keep going. Do it for 3 years consistently, you know? And then cry about not seeing results. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you did it for 1 month and then see no results. Like, what are you doing? So it's like I always gotta beat myself because I don't have nobody. Like, sometimes my team do it, but I don't really have nobody that's like, yo, you're bugging. Like, you need to get back on timings. Like, you know, so I can't run away from this shit because I don't have nobody to run to.
Well, do you know the weird thing is, and I've gone through this just with creating content and putting it out there, and I go through waves of like, because this very moment, this conversation between you and I is my favorite part of the process. This is my favorite part. If you were like, get rid of the rest, I'd be like, deal. Just give me these conversations. This is my favorite. My least favorite is making content and creating content in the sense of like posting regularly. But what I've realized over time is like, just because you don't see results today doesn't mean you're not going to see results tomorrow. It still sits out there. And so I've taken breaks from posting just because I'm like, I need a break mentally. And then you just look at your engagement on like Spotify or YouTube and you're like, oh, I'm still getting views and I haven't posted any new content in the sense like I haven't posted shorts, I haven't posted promos. And so it sits out there, but you don't think about that because you want the immediate, like, oh, this video has to do well within 7 days. And if it doesn't do well, then it's shit. But you realize over time that it's still out there. You're still going to get interest. It's going to come. And once people start finding you through all these different avenues, they're going to see the back catalog of all the work that you've done.
It's always new to somebody.
Yeah.
It's always new to somebody. So just because we put it out and we're familiar with it doesn't mean, oh, this is the end of this content. But with me personally, I be in my feelings a lot. Like, I be in my head like, damn, bro, like, I'm putting in all this work. Like, you know, like, what's going on? Why they not fucking with me? But then I still got to remember, like, I'm coming from a transition also where it's like, when I started doing music, the internet was a thing, like SoundCloud and stuff like that. But now, like, content wasn't the biggest thing. It did exist because I know people that was doing content in like 2009. That was the content that I'm doing now. I know people that was doing that in 2009. So it's not brand new, but it's like the new thing where it's like you have to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to be creating content. You know, but I feel like it's still new to me. So I'm still getting familiar with it. I'm still getting familiar with, because I haven't broken the algorithm yet to where I could say, oh, I went viral. So it's still new to me. I haven't seen it yet. It didn't happen to me yet, right? So a little bit of discouraged. So I could be discouraged, but like I was saying earlier, like, that's what forced me to go back to inspiration mode. Because it's like, bro, you haven't even explored everything yet. You got to just relax and just be consistent and then see where it goes. And then if it don't go nowhere in a certain amount of time, then you could, you know, try to restructure how you're doing things, restructure how you create content, try to make better songs, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's an important message for a lot of people is like, you know, just because you're discouraged doesn't mean you quit. Like, you're allowed to feel discouraged. You're allowed to be like, damn, I put in a lot of effort and I didn't get the results that I wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. Sorry, man. So yeah, you're allowed to feel discouraged. You're allowed to go through the ups and downs of like, hey, I put in a lot of work and it just didn't land the way I thought it would, or it didn't work the way that I thought it would. Like, being disappointed is important because then you know you give a fuck. Like, if you're not disappointed because it didn't work, then do you actually care? Because if you don't care, then why are you doing it?
That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
So I
Damn,
mean, that's the thing for you, man. You obviously care about what you do. That's so I think it should be like the disappointment you have to feel because you're like, I don't want to feel it again. But you also,
yeah,
if you never felt it, you would just be like, I don't know, man, maybe this isn't for me.
yeah, and I probably would have been gave up. You're right. You're right. You're right. It's just a matter of see, one of the hardest things in this industry is consistency for a lot of people, even myself. Like the thing is, with a lot of creators, we could be consistent in creating, but creating is just that's just half of it, bro. You could create something and nobody ever get to hear it, but that don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Because with me personally, like I probably have 200 songs, and and hear a conversation about somebody being consistent, and I'll be like, I'm consistent. Yeah, you're consistently making music, but you're not consistently putting it out, you know?
Yeah.
But it's all about consistency and you got to be consistent all around. You can't just be consistent in one position, you know?
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I mean, I think it's a hard part. The game of being a musician has changed significantly. Like it is a volume piece at the moment. It feels like you have to have volume and always out there and
You're
always just
absolutely
getting
right.
attention. Like whereas in being a podcaster, volume has always been the piece. That's always the game. So like
Yeah.
it is every single week you have to have an episode. That's
Yeah.
that's the formula. Every
Yeah.
single podcaster knows that
Yeah.
that minimum once a week, every week, same time, your audience knows that a
Yeah.
podcast
Keep
drops.
people engaged. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. For sure. I don't want to be the one to say it, but right now it seems like the easiest time for artists to get on. And the reason why I say that is because, like you said, volume. There's a lot of talented people out there, but a lot of people is afraid of putting their music out in front of the world. So I have a lot of people that I know that's like that, right? And I'm just like, bro, if you had his consistency with your talent, you would have been out of here. You know what I'm saying? And
Why do
as
you
far
think they're
as me, like,
scared?
huh?
Why do you think they're scared?
You said why do I think that is?
Well, why do you think they're scared of putting out their music?
Oh, why they scared? Because a lot of so the way the world works now is perception. So people already know that. People's already registered to that. They already know, like, damn, if I see something with 1,000 views, it means nothing to me. I look down on it, right? So a lot of artists have that mentality where it's like, I don't want to put my shit out and it only get 1,000 views. Because if I'm looking down on that, imagine what people gonna look at when they see me getting 1,000. They gonna look down on it. I don't want to be looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? So they scared. They like a lot of the artists I know, I convinced them to just drop music. I'm like, if you have marketing bucks, cool. Put it behind the music. If not, put the music out consistently, right? But a lot of the artists, they all have the same answer, which is like, oh well, I want to put something out when I know it could do something, when I have the money, when I have the budget. But a lot of these artists don't have the budget. So it's like, when are you ever gonna get the budget? You know what I'm saying? That's like a gamble. It's like if you're not, if getting a budget isn't guaranteed for you and you don't know where you could go get a budget from right now, when are you gonna start putting out music? You know what I'm saying? Let's say you do get a budget, but you 45 years old. Who's gonna want to listen to your shit now? You could have been
Yeah.
working for those, you could have been working that 20 years and been somewhere further. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid of results. They don't want to look bad. They don't want to get 1,000 views on Instagram or 1,000 streams on Spotify or 50 streams on Spotify. But a lot of people don't understand. You got to build your way up. It's like a lot of people, a lot of artists, um, they get caught up in somebody else's journey. You know what I'm saying? It's not, there's no one way to do this. Like you could really start with one view. You could start with one fan and build your way up. You don't have to start with $50,000 and put it in a music video and try to blow up. There's ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm not afraid to put music out. So I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's just my take on it.
Well, I think that is the worst excuse in the whole world to say, I'm waiting for money. I don't, because here's the thing. On the way to 1 million views, you got to get to 1,000. You got to get 1,000 before you can get 1 million. So the fact is, you don't know you can get 1 million, and you don't know you can get 1,000, and you don't know you can get 1 view. And if you get 1,000, that's 1,000 people that listen to your song. Like, think about, like, that's pretty cool. Like 1,000 people that listen to your song. If you get 10,000, 50,000, that's also really cool.
I saw a picture with 1,000 people in a room, and I was like, damn, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then I looked on one of my videos and it said 1K. And I was like, what the fuck? This shit only got 1K. But when you look at 1,000 people in a room, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. If you did a show with 1,000 people, like, think about it. If you did a show with 1,000 people, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. Like, they have decent sized artists right now that's not pulling in 500 people at a show. And 500 people in a venue, depending on the venue size, looks big. It look like a big venue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those thousand views, they add up too. That's probably a whole different 1,000 people on every video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And to be honest, when like, everyone wants to be at the millions, like, we all get it.
But everybody want to come out the gate swinging, and like, bro, that's not gonna happen for everybody. Everybody's not gonna go viral with their first song.
Most people don't.
Most people
don't.
The
0.001% that go viral. Like, they're looking at the wrong people. Like, they're looking at the people who go viral off one song and they think that can be them. You need to look at the people who have done it consistently, who started with nothing, who built long-term careers, whose music got better. Like, they're the ones who get hot and stay hot. The ones who go straight away, they very rarely stay hot. They just, like, they get
pop right back down.
Yeah. And then you live this dream for, like, you had 30 minutes. You had 30 minutes of fame. And you're like, oh, remember when I was famous? That would be awful.
And that I would rather not even being able to see fame than to say, remember when I was famous. Shit. If I'm famous, I better be famous for life, bro. Not better. I will. For real, I will. Because, like, I'm not about to be famous and then, what? Nah, bro. And pop back down. Nah.
And then you become the joke. Because that's what it turns into. They're like, oh, hey, man, do you remember that time where you thought that you had everything and now you're back here with the rest of us? Yeah, like, that's what's going to happen. Like, you know, you got to build it off sustained success. Because if you only release one song, how are you going to replicate it?
Yeah.
You can't replicate it.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I was at the camp today. I was at this writing camp. And that was one of the conversations. It was like, the hardest thing in music right now is if you get your first hit and it's a mega hit and you can't deliver the second song. Cause now it's like, bro, damn, like, you couldn't even get a song that was this close. You know what I'm saying? Cause if you blow up with a real big song and you don't get another big song after that, it's kind of clip for you. You know, well, we call it the one hit wonder, you know. Yeah. So,
well, you know, someone who I thought is emblematic of that in a recent generation was Designer. I thought Designer struggled. I mean, Panda came out and he was hot.
I don't think so. I'm
just saying, like, from my perspective, people wanted the Designer level song as in Panda, and he had Timmy Turner that came out, but it almost became
Timmy
impossible.
Turner wasn't a bigger song than Panda.
Exactly, I agree.
Timmy Turner was a good song. I personally, my opinion, I like Designer shit, bro. I just feel like, listen to me, bro. Just listen. I just feel like whatever happened after Panda he was young. He was just now getting fame. He was new to fame. He was young. I feel like, hold on, I want to, because I want to say it in the right way. I want to say it in the right way. So I just feel like I'm not trying to blame his team or anything or anybody around him, but I just feel like, because he might could take some, he might could take some fault for this shit too. But I just feel like if you would have just worked a little bit harder than you was already working and not really trying to look around for what's next, because you looking like, all right, I did this, what next? What y'all gonna do for me now? Like, as far as like the labels and, you know, I'm just feeling like going out there and doing this shit on your own, you would have been out of here.
Well, that's what I mean. He had the potential. Like, he had the
but I feel like he still had the songs too, though. You know, I feel like a strong team would have took him out of here. Get him some writers. If y'all don't like the songs he's making, get him some writers. Put him in the room with the best producers, and then you find the best producer to build with him so he could build a sound or just keep going with whatever he was doing. Get him a producer and somebody that's fire, you know, and lock in, build a sound, and you build your fan base. Keep touring, keep doing what you're doing. Because, bro, I'm not gonna lie, like some of this shit, it get tough because I know personal shit, it get tough on like your personal life. I can't really speak for nobody. I can't speak for designer. I can't speak for no artist. I think he's an amazing artist. But I just feel like it goes back to the same thing, consistency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his situation was, if he could have dropped after or dropped and kept dropping and kept dropping. But it's like one of those things where it's like you keep dropping. You gonna hit again. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna get that record again if you just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's the problem. So there's two pieces in that you make great points. The first is you have to be prepared for you to blow up. Like, because if you're not prepared, then when you'll fuck it up. You have to be ready. You have to have a plan of like, okay, you know, best case scenario, I blow up. This is my plan. And maybe that wasn't the case. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan A or B or whatever. And the second thing is maybe there's no catalog, or maybe they're just not releasing enough music. And the little person in your head starts telling you, man, this isn't as good. And you start doubting yourself. And then you release one song, it's not as big. And then you continue doubting yourself. And then you're scared to release because you're like, but it's not good enough. And then you start talking to yourself and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. And then the cycle perpetuates. So I definitely think there's a piece in there where, like, if you're unprepared and you don't have a catalog and you're not ready to just release things and get mixed results after you went to the top, then of course that makes sense that you're gonna not capitalize on it.
Nah, I feel what you're saying. It probably was a lot of pressure on him after that big hit.
Yeah, I actually don't blame him. I blame labels. I blame support, because everyone would say to him, yeah.
That's why I said that, because if y'all would have got him with the right producer, one producer that he could build with, the right writers. I'm not saying he can't write. I don't know his situation as far as pen, but the right writers or some fire writers, bro, like the kid is a superstar. Like,
yeah,
he would have been out. And then from there, like, because as far as the writers, like that's just to get hits. Every song don't gotta be a hit. You could have a hit. You could have one hit every year, or every 2 years, or every 3 years, or even every 5 years. But at least get them out there. You know what I'm saying? Being that you're somebody that blew up from a hit, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it just becomes, the pressure becomes immense because everyone's looking for the new Panda. Everyone's looking for that. Like, can I have that song again? And most artists, they don't know how they created that song to begin with. You're like you just said, I get inspired and I make music. I just got inspired. I don't know how to get inspired exactly the same way. That song I made 3 years ago, and it took me 3 years to perfect. I don't know how it happened. Like, that's the weird thing. That's the hard part about being an artist, is like, you don't want it to become a formula, but so many people want it to be a formula, because then they can make money, they can market it, they can sell it a particular way.
Nah, for sure. Sure. I don't want to blame nobody, man. At the end of the day, bro, like me as an artist, this shit all come down to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter where I go. You know, it don't matter what label I sign to. You know, it don't matter if I blow up from the big song or if I blew up because I just had catalog and I've been touring or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, it come down to the artist. You can't really hold nobody accountable but yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's a really good place to be.
Yeah, so it's really on you. You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell some of my homies, I'm like, bro, it's really on you. You know, some people want to blame the team or the managers or this, that, and the third, but you own the company, bro. It's on you.
What do they say when you say that?
I don't know. Ain't really much you can say. You can't disagree. You know what I'm saying? The most somebody will probably say is just keep having more excuses. And that's really the only thing stopping you from a lot of shit is excuses. Because even with me, I have excuses. We all have excuses. We all make excuses, right?
Yeah. That's how we
but
survive.
That's yeah, certain shit is just an excuse, bro. Like, bro, you shouldn't have no excuses. Like, bro, fuck all that. Like, ain't no excuses. You know what I'm saying? This is on you.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate accountability. Like, if you take
Yeah.
supreme accountability, you're also gonna have supreme results, because you'll be able to be, you won't be able to sleep at night, because you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's all on me. Like, if
Yeah, it is.
you know, and you know, it's funny because I realized this. I was a lot heavier than I am now. Like, I was pushing like 110 kilos at some stage. So what's that? Like 230, 240
220.
pounds? No, 225 is 100 kilos, I think. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe 240. And I just realized one day that, like, it's just on me. Like, it's up to me to make the change. And so
Yeah.
and it was empowering. It was like, oh no, I'd just been using excuses. I'd been like doing cheat ways, like trying not to put in the work, trying to be like, oh no, it's fine, and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna make a change. That's when results come. That's when you get to be like, okay, no more fucking around. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take complete ownership of this.
Yeah. By the way, you look great, man, for coming down to yeah, bro. For real.
Yeah, I dropped
But I agree.
close
I agree with what you're
to
saying.
20 kilos. So I'm like, I'd say probably about 200 pounds now.
Word.
Yeah.
Look great, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Got to stay young, got to stay healthy. Like, that's the thing.
Sure.
Like, you feel good, you look good, then you're going to perform well.
Yeah, yeah, no excuses. But back to what you were saying, I feel like with that, it's like you gotta have that moment where you have that conversation with yourself, right? And everybody don't really have that moment. Sometimes you might have that moment late in your life, but at least you had the moment to come to, like, that's what anything you do in life. Where it's like, yo, really, like, if I really want this shit, you the only one that can do it. You know, like, looking in the mirror, that, you know, just that whole concept of looking in yourself in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
It's like, at some point you got to come to a conclusion where it's like, bro, are we doing this or not? You know what I'm saying? Or are we just gonna sit here and complain? You know what I'm saying? So I have those conversations with myself all the time where I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? Like, you know, and it just come down to decisions. You know?
Yeah. And then having the right people around you as well to be like,
yeah,
hey, Sa, stop your bitching, stop your complaining, fucking go. stop it.
Yeah.
Like you
Just
need
do this
people
shit.
around you to also be like, hey, enough of that. Okay, I get it. You've been heard. You said your piece, you got it out, you complained a bit. Now shut the fuck up and get back to work.
Yeah, and get back to work. Yeah. Real shit. Because at the end of the day, you also gotta remember, like, you the one that wanted this shit, right? Like, you wanted this shit, so shit. You gotta do what it takes.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I think the people around you is important. They keep you accountable.
Yeah, that shit is definitely important.
So you have to make the decision, then you surround yourself with the people who will also help you continue walk the path. Because otherwise you'll have people who will try and pull you off. They'll try to drag you into their pathway.
Yeah,
you gotta,
there's two types of people in this world.
Yeah.
It's those types of people, and it's the type that's gonna keep you on the track.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because we were talking
keep you on the track and the ones that's gonna take you off track. So you right.
Because I mean, we were talking, just before we started about, in the music industry, entertainment industry, it's pretty tough sometimes to know who's who, because intentions and what they say to your face versus what they do are two completely different things. And especially in making music, especially in like making movies, like for me, I do this. Like I don't need anyone's permission. I do it all. I don't need labels. I don't need anything to release any of it. So I don't have that challenge. It's very much like controlled. But like in the music industry, there's just so many people involved that it can be.
It definitely is. It definitely is, bro. I say, like, the sooner you realize who's who, the better. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll just be living in a fantasy. You know what I'm saying? The quicker you realize who's who around you, the better it's gonna be for you. Or else you just gonna be sitting there like boo-boo the fool, waiting for somebody to like snake you out of your position. You know what I'm saying? So the quicker you realize what's going on around you and who's who around you, the better it's gonna be. That's just how music feels. Like I'm learning that shit now.
Well, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think it's so prevalent? Because you're not the first person to say it, and unfortunately, you won't be the last. But why do you think it's so prevalent that like people will try to snake you, people will try to undercut you? Like, yeah, what is it that creates that environment?
That's just the industry that we in. So it's not personal. It's business. So I say all that to say, like, the certain shit happen in business that might seem like it's shady shit, but it's not shady. It's only shady if you take it personal. That's the business in general. So we call it being snaked out of certain shit, but you're not being snaked out. It's just business. You get what I'm saying? Because when there's paperwork involved, there's no shady business. What the paperwork says, that's the business. If you take it shady and you didn't read it, it's because now you taking it from a personal perspective. Like you looking at it personal. It's not personal. It's business. You get what I'm saying? It's only shady when you start thinking that people are your friends and they move as if they're doing business. And then and certain movements are business movements, but you take it personal. So now it's shady because you signed to Brandon, you know what I'm saying? And Brandon signed you because he loves you. He loved your talent. When you came in, he was like, "Oh my God, Aaron, you can sing your ass off." And now you're having dinner with Aaron, you're having dinner with Brandon and his family. Now you think you're friends. You know what I'm saying? But now you're not selling no more albums. He don't want to hear from you no more. He got a new artist. Now you taking it personal because you like, damn, that's my friend. That's not your friend, bro. It's business. So now you feeling like he snaked you out. He didn't snake you out. It's business.
Yeah. I loved your point about whatever it says in the paperwork, that's the business. Everything else is just smoke in the wind.
Like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter. You being snaked out doesn't matter. That's how you feel. Because the paperwork doesn't say, the paperwork say what it say. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, bro.
Yeah, the paperwork. The paperwork doesn't say Brandon has to take me out to dinner 3 times a week to sit with his family. Yeah.
But it does say if he does take me to dinner, I got to recoup that. You get what I'm saying? But you didn't see that part though. So now you starting to feel like, damn, where's the 40,000 that you owe me? We spent that on dinner all those times I was taking you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's personal when you start making it personal. When you start thinking that these people are your friends and they start doing things that you don't like, that's when it's personal. So that's why you should never feel like they're your friends. If you met anybody in the industry, it's probably a colleague, or it's probably, you could call it, but it's not your friend. That's not somebody like, yeah, y'all have dinner and play golf. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't want to sneak each other out of no deals, but if it come down to it, you will. Like, but they, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. And people just lie. They do lie. You have to expect that. Like you can't expect people to say the truth all the time because, you know, they do it. Like you have to, you know, I come from corporate as well. That's where my background is, in corporate. And people lie to your face. They just do.
You know why? You know why they lie to your face? Because that's business. It's like, I didn't come here to be your friend. You came here to make friends, not me. You want to be naive. I'm here to make $1 million, and I know exactly how to do it. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, even if it's a lie.
It's the game of sales.
That's how people come in this industry. Like, some people come in this industry with a business mindset where it's like, I'm going to get what I need. I'm going to step on whoever I need to step on. If I got to smile at certain people. And that's what this industry is. You got to go places and smile. And that's where a lot of people get confused, because these smiles start to look real. These smiles aren't real, bro. They're just smiles. This is a show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not real. And you got to learn how to put on a smile too.
Yeah, I mean, and you can still do ethical business. Like you can still be truthful to your word and act with honor and respect, but you also have to be smart and intelligent enough to be like, okay, this is great. I love what they're saying, but let me validate this. Let me make sure that it's everywhere. You know, the problem that I see is that it's typically people who are very experienced in the world taking advantage of people who are inexperienced. And that's the power dynamic that's dangerous that I see. Because when you're experienced, you're experienced. That's when you're like, okay, we're at an even playing field. We both know the game. So there's no one, if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. You hope that you neither win or lose. You kind of just work together. But it's more when, like, you know, there's big money, big power at the table, and then there's desperation at the table. And they can feel it. They can feel desperation. We've all been there with someone. You can feel it, whether it's a date, whether it's anything like that. And you're like, okay, I have control here in a way more dominant way than necessarily in other ways. So that's where I see the unethical nature of it, is the power dynamics. But I think the more we talk about it, the more we say, like, hey, you need your own team. You need to be educated. Like, music is music, but it's a business and it's an industry. Like, it's not just create music and we all dance around in a circle and hold hands. That's not where we're at. Like, if you don't make money, people don't sign you. That's the truth.
That's a fairy tale. So it's like, so even with me, I had to start learning that. So the music business isn't just the music business. This shit is bigger than just business, because personal feelings get involved. Artists have a certain attachment to their work, right? Imagine you go through something that's traumatic in your life and you sing about it, and you're signed to a label and they put the song out. You have an attachment to this song because of what you're saying in the song. But the labels don't give a fuck. They just want to make sure this shit can sell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, the shit doesn't sell. The label's like, okay, well, you're not selling. But you're like, damn, but I sang my heart out on that song. I was talking about such and such when I went through this, that, and the third. Yeah, you have an attachment to the song, but that doesn't mean anything to us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as creatives, like we just gotta remember, like, bro, this is a business. Get your attachments out of these songs. These are products. You know, these are products that are meant to be sold and never seen again. That's how you gotta look at it. You know?
Otherwise, stay independent.
Yo, just stay independent.
Like if you want to retain creative license, if you want to retain all of that, stay independent. Then you can just sign distribution deals. I'm like, how does it distribute? But I have all, but you know, it's riskier because, you know, that both have risks, but you sign to a label, you get money up front. That's nice. It's a bit of security for a little bit of time versus as an independent, like you're making your music first. You don't know the results. So you got to invest time, energy, money, and then hopefully you get results on the back end. So it's tough. Like I get both worlds. Like if you've never had money and someone puts an offer of 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand in front of you, you're kind of like, I just see the bread. I just see,
you're gonna take
I don't
that.
see the rest.
Yeah, you're gonna take that. But I will say this. That's why I say it's on you. It comes down to you, right? Because somebody could offer you a deal for $100,000 and $300,000, and yeah, you could get excited. Cool, you can get excited, but that don't mean you got to sign a fucked up deal, though. You know what I'm saying? You can still sign a good deal. You can still negotiate that deal and make sure you still get that money, but it's a good deal. You know, and if it's not a good deal, just I don't know. If people know how to keep it pushing, or they'll just sign a bad deal because the label didn't want to negotiate a good deal. I don't know, but from my experiences, like I've never signed to a major. I've signed like distribution deals and like publishing deals and stuff. But from my understanding, like you can negotiate.
Well, it's the game, man.
You know?
Because you know what they're going to say to you. Like, you know, they're like, hey, you didn't get, I'm the only one at the table with you, man. This is the only deal you're ever going to get. If you don't sign today, it's going. And I don't give a fuck.
And that's why you got to have good people around you.
Yeah. And that's the pressure. They'll say that. And that's, if I was in their position, I would say this. And I would very clearly be like, okay, don't sign it then. If you don't want to sign it, don't sign it. But don't come back to me in a week and say, hey, I want to sign that deal again because it's gone. So this is your chance. No one's ever coming out to you again because I could go sign somebody else on this deal and they'll sign it right away. So if you don't want to sign it, don't sign it. That's fine. But I'm not negotiating terms, but don't expect me to come back in a week. So are you sure you don't? And the pressure, the ability of someone to walk away is in essence what makes people sign. That's how because it's, again, if you're desperate for you, then you know you've got power, you've got control, you can negotiate terms, but they'll just say, here it is, take it or leave it. If you don't want to leave it, I'll go sign somebody else. And then people are fearful. The fear of missing out is very real.
Yeah, but that's why I said you gotta have professional people around you. That's so in music, you gotta make sure you have somebody that's professional, because from my experience, if somebody try to sign you and you don't want to sign to them and they take the offer off the table, there's still value there. Because I can take that offer to another label and say, hey, look, they want to sign me for $100,000, but I don't want to go with them. What do you guys have? Now you have another offer on the table. You know what I'm saying?
That's the smart way.
Why I'm saying you gotta make sure you have professional people around you that know these things.
Yeah.
Because that's what we would have did. If somebody would have said, yo, we have 100,000 for Safa right now, we would have took that 100,000 and took it to every other label and told them, hey, look, these guys are trying to sign me. If other labels see that somebody is trying to sign me, it raises their eyebrows because they like, well, what's so special about you? Let's see. Let's hear it. Now you have label meetings.
Yeah. And those labels,
you know what I'm saying?
So in the scenario that I painted, it's the artist who has the fear of missing out. In your scenario, it's the labels who have the fear of missing out. And so if you can, it's all about figuring out who if you can generate enough interest. But I 100% agree. You know, the same happens in like any career. If you get an offer for 100 grand, someone else is also going to offer you 100,000. So why would you just take the shit? Like that's what I've never understood. That's the thing to me where I'm like, if someone says I can give you 100, someone else is going to give you 100. Someone might give you 120. Like someone might give you 200. Like, how do you know that's the cap of where you're worth? Like, that's what I always found strange is like someone told you you're worth 100 and you believe it. Why? How do they decide your worth? Why can't I decide my worth?
If somebody could decide your worth and put a price on it, that means you're worth more. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's it. If they could tell you how much you're worth, that means you're worth more. So why would you settle for what they telling you?
Yeah. I mean, my first thing would be, you know, I'm worth at least significantly more than that.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know why people sign these messed up deals. I don't know, bro. Bro. You know what's crazy? I signed my publishing deal, and my shit. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but on my label, they have people that sign without lawyers.
Well, that's just dumb.
Like, wait. Yeah, and I was just like, wait, what? Damn, bro, that's crazy.
That's just crazy. Stupid.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, but unfortunately, then what happens to you happens to you. That's like you said, it's on you. Like, you know, if they have lawyers and they have a contract and you're not,
because the shit I seen in these contracts is like, oh well, you get your rights back in 98 years or shit like that. So I'm like, oh shit. So, you know, certain red lines that I seen in the contract, I'm like, oh shit, this is in my contract, and it's probably in everybody's contract. But we redline that shit out. But if certain people don't have lawyers, then that shit is in these niggas' contracts. Shit crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do, because they would say, and I have a law degree as well, so I went to uni and I did law. But
that's fire, bro.
So they
you did law for how long?
I just did my degree, and the more I did it, the less I wanted to be a lawyer. 4 years? Yeah, so I went to uni for 5 years because I did law commerce. I did a double, and my major in my commerce was marketing. But I went to sales. That was my industry when I went corporate. But yeah, but the thing is, the contracts are complicated and they're not written in spoken English. They're written in very particular language, and only someone who's very proficient in the industry will be able to understand what's being written. Like, if you were to show me the contract, even with my level of education, I wouldn't be well versed enough to really pick up on what's being said.
Okay.
So I would know that I would need a lawyer to actually read the contract and tell me. And you know, that's but you know, lawyers don't represent themselves in court. Lawyers have other lawyers represent themselves. Like, that's so when you know that, you always have to have a lawyer. You have to have an industry lawyer. You have to have someone who's versed in contracts. You have to have someone who's like, nah, fuck this, because it's the little words that make the big difference. Like, they really do. I've been in arguments over words in contracts when I've been selling deals. It's like, they're like, no, I don't like this word. This word leaves this interpretation up for grabs. I don't want that interpretation. Even if that's never going to be a dispute, I just don't want the idea that it could be a dispute.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Save yourself the heartache. Spend the money, get the lawyer, make sure your contract
is good. Man. Get that lawyer, pay for that lawyer.
Yeah.
And if you out there signing deals and you don't have money for a lawyer, you can always negotiate the label paying the lawyer, so you don't have to come out of pocket. That could be a part of your deal.
Yeah.
So,
and if they say to you, don't worry, our legal looked at it and they like it and it's fine,
Nah, that's sus. That's sus. Don't do that. Get your own lawyer, a lawyer that's never worked with the company before, or if they have, it was separate parties. You know what I'm saying? No, don't have no ties to no label lawyers. Don't do that.
And some lawyers don't actually charge unless you sign the deal anyway. Like if
Yeah,
you
exactly.
say to a lawyer, like, hey, you know, once I sign a deal, I'll give you X percentage of that, then they'll say, okay. So some will do it post, some will charge you post rather
Yeah,
than
sure.
before. So it depends on the way you do it, the type of lawyers. But yeah, not worth the risk. Because like you said, imagine having no lifetime rights to your own music. Fuck that. Look at how sad we are.
Well,
Like we're thinking
well,
about it and it's just rough.
yeah. I don't know how like label deals are structured right now. Like I've never seen a 360 deal. Like it's a lot of deals I've never seen before. But I've seen like distribution deals and like publishing deals, like the standard deals. So I know how those work. But like label deals, man, I'm pretty sure those are fucked. Because shit, man, it's like when you hear about 360 deals and just the history of a 360 deal, it just sound crazy. They get to tap all the money that you make, like even your merch and your shows. Like, nah, that's supposed to be the number one place you get your money from, you know, because they already getting out of your streaming money because they own some of the masters, if not all, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, it's rough, but you just got to do your homework. And like you said, you got to stay accountable. You got to like you just can't go into this with the fairy tale mindset. And it goes from the beginning. Like if you think you're going to blow up after one song, hopefully that's true, but the odds are it's unlikely. But you just
Yeah,
got to know what you get into and like, and just keep pushing creatively. I mean, that's what you've been doing. And something we haven't spoken about is your evolution of sound, because something that has been very apparent to me. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was like your evolution has been really good. Like you've been evolving, you've been challenging yourself. And I think that's the other piece of like, don't forget the importance of evolving your art.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I feel like naturally, if you keep doing something, you're gonna get better at it, right? But with me, like I feel like it's intentional. I always want my next song to be better than my last one because it's something that's like, bro, it's almost like I'm just chasing that song. It's like I'm chasing that verse. I'm chasing that hook. You get what I'm saying? I'm challenging myself. You know, like imagine doing something for so long and you just remain the same. Nothing, you didn't evolve or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like naturally you're supposed to push yourself,
Yeah.
you know? Like what's next? Like what can I do that's better than the last thing I did? You know, so that's what I came from. Um and just I feel like uh just growing up on a lot of different types of music too, you know. When I started rapping and stuff like that, I was experimenting with that music because I've heard that growing up, right?
Yeah.
And then I've also heard reggae growing up. I've heard dancehall growing up. So it's like just me experimenting with certain sounds that I heard growing up and stuff like that. So it's like, and I've always had this thing where if I'm doing a type of song, I try to do like 10 of those types of songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for instance, if I'm doing a Spanish song, I'm gonna do 10 Spanish songs, you know, just to see because I know that one Spanish song might not be the one, you know. So I just be keep like trying to keep going, like get new ideas out there and stuff like that on one particular genre or just style in general, you know. So I feel like that's where I come from. That's how I'm able to like just um evolve my sound and like just experiment with different genres and not wanting to be in a box.
Which is so good, man.
Mhm.
Like that's you don't want to be the same forever. Like you want to
Yeah.
evolve and push yourself, and like I think that also helps. And you were saying at the beginning about being inspired. It's fun to be
Yeah.
inspired by something new. It's fun to be inspired by a new sound. It's fun to be inspired by something you've never done before just to see if you can do it. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. You're like, fuck it, at least I tried. And I went
Yeah.
for it and I backed myself in.
Nah, for sure. That's exactly what it is. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I push me. Like, I can push me. Nobody not gonna push you like you can push yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're the only person that know where you gotta go and the heights you gotta reach, and you'll listen to everybody and agree on certain things. But at the end of the day, it's on you. Like I said, it's on you, man.
It's on
It's
you.
on you.
That's the message
And
of this
that's
podcast.
gonna be one of my projects, man. It's on you.
Yeah. You should 100%. Such a good title. It's on you. Yeah. That'll be the title of this podcast. That'll be your next album. It's on you.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. We push this the rollout. This the rollout.
This rollout. It's the beginning.
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure. I only have one more question for you. It's the toughest question I'm going to ask. It's the only question that I plan on the show. So hopefully it's good and hopefully you like it. But if you had to recommend one album that everybody should listen to at least once, just to appreciate, just to hear at least once, can be any genre of music, cannot be your own music, what would it be?
It can't be my own music.
It can't be your own music. We're gonna promo you after.
Damn. All right. Bet. Word. I gotta give thanks to Andy Palacio from Belize. I think I got one of his posters or like a magazine somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, I gotta give praises to Andy Palacio. Y'all gotta go listen to his album. It's called Watina. One of the greatest albums of all time.
There you go, man. You're the only one to mention Andy Palacio.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Andy Palacio is from Belize. God rest his soul. He was one of the greatest artists from my country to ever do it. So shout out to him. Shout out to his whole family, and shout out to the whole Belize and the whole girlfriend.
And shout out to you, my man. Safa Gaw came through. I appreciate it. I love this conversation and everything we spoke about. It jumped from thing to
Likewise.
thing, but yeah, the message at the end, it's on you.
Great conversation.
Hey, it was easy. You know, I've had some podcasts in my life that are not so easy. This was fun. This was easy. We'll definitely have to do it again. And for anyone who hasn't listened to Wine and Dine, please go listen to it. Resist also came out this year. I think go back in the back catalog. He's he's going to keep making music. So
and I'm dropping
tuned.
right away. I'm dropping right away in like 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
So that'll be out probably like almost right now. So go listen to it right away.
Yeah, go listen to it right away. Yeah, go listen to it right away. Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it already, listen to it right after this. Go to it straight away. Listen to it right away. Show him some love. Show us some love. But man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you wanted to shout out? Anything else you wanted to plug?
Yeah, shout out my company and my brother's company, Grabber Gods. Make sure wherever you are in the world, if you see that on the counter, make sure you grab that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stay positive out there. You go to sleep positive. You wake up positive. You live positive, and we excelling, and we excel to be great. We aspire to be great. And shout out to my boy Aaron. Thank you for having me, bro.
Thank you. My pleasure.